Ready when you are, Ace.
All right, welcome everybody to our final World Superbike Pre-Race Show of the year from Portimao. Steve Martin, Jonathan Green, you look in someplace very ancient. You have ancient pillars behind you, lit up beautifully like you're in the Parthenon or something, but you can't be because you're in Portugal.
Yes, that's right. It's early evening here in just outside Portimao, in fact. And yeah, the sun's just gone down. It's a nice sunset, and we're in a nice little resorty kind of place. It's a little bit cold. Now it's getting a bit cooler, but we have got the right imbibation again. Of course, port from Portugal. And we'll give that a go, but it is excellent. And we've got some cheese and biscuits. And just for your soccer fans, Sporting Lisbon are playing up the road, and that's the big soccer match tonight for the Champions League. But of course, we're here to talk about a bloke in yellow, a bloke in red, I should say. A bloke in yellow is otherwise. Bloke in red and a bloke in blue.
Exactly, and it's all going to come down to this weekend. And you know, Jonathan keeps on trying to pump me to get me to say who's going to win out of those two, the championship. And I've made my mind up. I've thought about it over the last couple of weeks, and I'm going for Ben Spies. Not because this is an American show, but because I really believe that he's got what it takes to do it here. But not only that, I think the Yamaha has got what it takes to do it at this circuit.
Well, I have to say, I would be so excited if Ben does it, but history has to favour Haga, surely. And so does the points at the moment. And surely, the fact that he's got support from Fabrizio, in my opinion, is huge at this stage. He's got a 10-point lead. He's got Fabrizio, who literally has said in the press, certainly in the Italian press, that he will do anything he can to support Haga. And look at the double win that Bayliss got. Bayliss won, I think, the first race by 7 seconds. Now, neither of these guys are Bayliss, but, you know, it just shows you how good the Ducati can be around here. But listening to my learned friend, Spies has never stopped talking about how confident he is here. So quite honestly, it's really anything goes. I think the key is what Fabrizio does or doesn't do.
In my opinion about Fabrizio, I'm not so sure that he can be up there to challenge Ben. The only thing that he can do is T-bone him off the circuit.
He's fast and testing.
He was in testing. I mean, we've seen he's already had one go at doing it, hasn't he?
Well, I mean, you know, and that is not a joke. I've got a feeling that if he's on the front row, he will try to get into that first corner before Ben. Ben's impossible to stop into the first corner, but Fabrizio's just going to go, well, I've got nothing to lose. And he will, like you said, we've already seen it at Bruno. He will have a go.
Might be another year's extension on the contract, perhaps.
And as long as he paints on his helmet, "I love you, Ben," or something like that, it's all good.
Well, he's done that before already.
No, he didn't do that. He put the Skittles on there, didn't he?
No, he put the Skittles on.
He celebrated by putting a Skittle on, like, bang, I got number 19.
Yeah, several other numbers.
Mm.
Well, it was a year ago that Ben Spies came out of the gates like a shot out of a gun and just surprised the whole world at the Portimao test, and suddenly it was, oh my gosh, this kid could be for real. Who knew that? Because the AMA Championship is such a bunch of little kiddies.
Yeah, and like I said, we've been saying it all season long. I think you guys in the AMA knew how good he was going to be, and when we finally started talking to people like Schwantz and Russell and, you know, those other people that have been around for a long time, they knew what he had. But he did, and you tell me, but he took me certainly by surprise, and I think most of the journalists involved in World Superbikes and MotoGP.
Yeah, I mean, he had some great rides in MotoGP last year as well, and he came over here. I don't think anybody expected him to do what he did, because we haven't really followed his history and seen his history like you guys. Like, oh yeah, we hear Ben Spies at the end of the year wins the championship, but we haven't been able to watch him through, and we haven't watched him be groomed. When you look at his career, he's been groomed from 17 years old. He's been riding Suzuki all that way through Yoshimura Suzuki with one of the absolute best American Superbike teams that there is. Peter Doyle and all of those guys in that team, they really know how to do a good job, and he's had that following all the way through. He's got Tom Houseworthy, who's been with him all that time. He's managed to bring him with him. I can only think of one other rider off the top of my head that's done that, Valentino Rossi with Jeremy Burgess.
Well, and before that, Mick Dillon.
Yeah.
With Jeremy Burgess.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, what else aside from the championship being decided? There's also a World Supersport on the line, right? Or is it kind of out of touch now?
It's 19 points. Basically, Cal Crutchlow has to finish in the top, well, anywhere out, roughly around the top 10. So it's really, given what he's been doing all season, unless he throws it down on the warm-up lap, which he's capable of doing, he's pretty much got it in the can. Having said that, this is Laverty's home circuit, Parc Elgar, of course. They've been testing here. In fact, both of them have been testing here. But quite frankly, I can't see anybody taking it away from Cal.
The only thing to consider is with the Yamaha, they've had a lot of bad luck. If you remember a couple of years ago now, Kev Curtin only had to finish the race in 8th position to win the championship, and he got knocked off or he fell off. So it's not over until it's over. And
he's got to make it through a couple of practices and a race yet.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at Cal's style, he doesn't know anything except flat out. Like, he really rides on the action, and he saw for a little bit. He felt last time out. That's a pity, because it would have been really good coming into here to see what he could do. But
I don't think either is going to win the race, because if you remember what Sofoglu did last year, he steamed away when he made his comeback to Supersport.
Yeah, I mean, let's remember Sofoglu's got nothing to lose as well. I mean, he's in the right aggressive mood. He could play a bearing on this outcome of the race as well. He's going to try everything to take out, Crutchlow if he has to.
Silly season in full swing still. I saw that Sykes and Vermeulen will be at Kawasaki.
Yeah, lean, mean and green, it looks like. Obviously, Sykes has ridden for Paul Bird before. Vermeulen obviously is going to be very hungry to do something, because he's done nothing, obviously in MotoGP. But like so many MotoGP refugees, Shaky Byrne, James Toseland out, they come back here hungry. Go further back, Haga. They come back here looking for, to regain the impetus that they probably left World Superbikes with. So I think that team particularly is going to be interesting. And so are Honda and Suzuki.
Definitely. Especially with Merckx swapping teams like that. And Jonathan and me were having a discussion as to why that happened. And
it seems suspicious to me. 1 minute he's not fit enough to ride the All-Star Suzuki, and then the next he's signed by Honda to replace Checo.
In my mind, Suzuki needs some riders that can win. This year they haven't really had anybody since Neukirchner that could challenge for a podium, nevertheless a win. So the way that they've looked at the championship for next year is, yes, they've got the Kageyama's going back to the British Superbike. Then you've got Haslam coming in. He could win, but he hasn't won a race yet. Neukirchner, who was their strong guy, is out with injury, and he could come back strong, or he could injure himself. So he's a question mark. So they've got question marks there. And one of those question marks, Neukirchner, is a really big question mark, because we don't even know if he's fit enough to race. Tenkata, on the other hand, they've got Johnny Ray, who's a winner already. So with Max Neukirchner going there, it's a win-win situation. They've already got one winner, so they're up there. And Neukirchner, if he wins, that means they've got 2 winners. If he doesn't win, it doesn't matter.
Right. Okay. So are all the place settings filled now for World Superbike next year?